This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Interviewing musicians, comedians, sports personalities, and many, many other individuals all over the world, sharing their story of encouragement, inspiration, what they've been through, what they've gone through, as well as amazing musicians from all over the world. Kick back and relax. For some amazing people you probably have never heard of and their story. Each of us have a story of hope, of courageousness, of inspiration. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one-on-one podcast. It's always about encouraging others. Hello there, and welcome back to Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. I'm your host, Jody Sheffield. This podcasting venue has given me the opportunity to reach out to some truly gifted musicians from all over the world. In today's episode, not only do I get a chance to interview another gifted musician, but also sharing some brand new songs by folks who have been on the show before. Hunter Lott is back with a brand new song called Look Down on Me. I had him on episode number 48. You can go back and listen to. Regan Hayden is back also with a brand new song called Iris, a very great instrumental song. He was on episode number 44. His wife Jessica Lynn Whitty and Chris Jones, also known as the Redneck Files, are back with a brand new song. Jessica was on episode number 39 and Chris was on episode 52. And not only that, I get a chance to interview them about their brand new song, Weekend Marathon. You see how it got started, and just really excited to hear about that journey to making a brand new song. On my interview today, my guest is, I'll tell you in a second, actually. He began singing and songwriting at 5 years old. 5 years old, it's crazy. And in May of 2022, Rocky Michaels was named a finalist for the U.S. Male Rising Star of the Year, Album of the Year, Music Video of the Year, and Emerging Artist of the Year by the International Songwriters Association. I personally love his very unique voice, and I began to listen to his songs and to chill and relax to, and it's just, he has received so many numerous comments about his authenticity to heartfelt emotion as he brings to each and every song. He has put out song after song and video after video, and today I'm playing two of his songs, actually, In Your Life and Stepping Stone. I'm excited to hear about his journey, as well as who's encouraged him and who's inspired him. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Rocky Michaels, here on Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. Hello, Rocky.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How about yourself? Me all right?
Everything's good, yeah.
Welcome to Chit and Chat. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. And by the way, thank you for your service in the Navy. I was checking out your background. So you're a good man.
Appreciate it. Born and raised in Arkansas, met the wife here in Washington State, and haven't moved back.
All right.
The wife kept me around in Washington.
Well, I'm born and raised in California, and I've been here ever since.
Awesome. Well, before we dive into some great conversations today, I'd like to throw some icebreaker questions at my guest. This is Rocky Michaels, musician from California, as you said. And my first question is, what was your first career dream of having when you were a kid?
Oh, wow. Coming out strong. Let's see. My first career dream as a music related or just in general?
In general, yeah. I want to be a baseball player.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I'm in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland area, and early '70s, the Oakland A's won 3 World Series in a row, and
Mm-hmm.
Reggie Jackson was my idol as a young little kid, and
Mr. October. Yep.
Mr. October. Yes, I so probably before I learned to figure it out, I loved baseball. I was in Little League, and I think I struck out too many times to be successful. So I had to move on.
I collected a lot of baseball cards. I remember one day I was probably 7 or 8 years old. I went Houston Astros, and I found, Mom, Jesus plays for Houston Astros. She goes, that's Jesus. No, it spells Jesus, Mom.
Hey, as long as you believed it, more power to you.
It was pretty awesome. Number 2, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give your younger Rocky Michaels, say 16, 18 years old, some advice that you've kind of learned along the way?
Okay. What would I give my young? It's funny you mentioned that. Quick segue. One of my first songs that I released, um, that I got published or out there, it's called "This Is You, This Is Me." It was, I think, back in 2019, and it was a song that I wrote about what I would say to my younger self. So
Mm.
it's kind of a good segue there. I would say, if I can go back and give myself some advice, just try to put in the hard work a little earlier. Whether it's studying in school or crafting a trade, or working on a talent. I was kind of a late bloomer in many ways, and it took me a while to figure things out. In fact, I'm still not sure what I want to be when I grow up. So still working on it.
I'm with you. I have a full-time job and a part-time job. I do this podcast thing. I like this. This is fun.
If you love it, that's great. It's not everyone can say that, so I'm happy for you.
Made a lot of people, a lot of musicians, comedians. As I said, Marcus. I love talking to people in general. So this is just kind of my wheelhouse.
All right, love it.
Number 3, what's the best piece of advice you've received from someone, and who was it from? Maybe during your early years singing or something like that.
Uh, hmm. Best advice. And I'm going to credit this to my parents, whether it was from them or not. But they've thrown a lot of great advice over the years, so I'll give them credit for it. Basically, and I'll paraphrase something to the effect of, don't just sit back and hope for opportunities in life. You have to go out and you have to create your own opportunities.
Mm.
And kind of a simple message, but it was pretty powerful. And not everything is going to be given to you. You got to go out and make things happen. So it's something that has stuck with me, and I'm trying to pass it on to my children as well.
I think it's very prevalent today, especially in today's society. A lot of people out there are expecting a handout, or something to fall from the sky. When you put the work in, you like to get it faster, and it's more rewarding when you then someone give it to you, money or whatever, fill in the blank.
Absolutely. Not all the time, but more often than not, good things will happen. And it's just, you put your head down and you get to work, and yeah, I mean, it can be very fulfilling along the way, and regardless of the outcome. But more often than not, good things will happen.
Number 4, how does Rocky Michaels unwind between shows, writing songs, concerts? How do you kick back and relax and kind of just, breathe it in a little bit?
How do I unwind? After a performance, so mentally drained. It's just, I mean, it's so great. I'm so grateful to be, able to perform and be on stage. So I'll probably just chill, go back, see, my family, or veg out on the TV. And Yeah, just kind of turn the brain off a little bit, and maybe the next day I'll kind of regroup, and often I'll record my performance and critique it, and I'll kind of put in the work to figure out what I can do differently or what worked. But immediately after, I just need to veg and kind of turn my brain off a bit.
Gotcha. So last question for you, for our icebreaker questions. You're having a dinner party and you can only invite 3 musicians over, past or present. what three are you going to invite over to kind of pick their brain a little bit and just kind of have a great time of just sharing about music?
Ooh. Only three?
Yeah, it's your house. You get a cable. You can invite as you want.
Yeah. Can I get a larger table, man?
5, 10, go ahead.
So three. God, I mean, there's so many musicians, past or present. Three that comes to mind, and I may have a different answer tomorrow, but um, first of all, growing up again, in the '70s, I took piano lessons at 5 years old. My parents forced me to take piano lessons, and I I joke, but I appreciate it. So, in the '70s, learning piano. Um, Billy Joel was, he was the piano guy and the
Mhm.
piano man. So that's one that comes to mind. A little bit more present, uh, you know, Tim McGraw's just such a stud. Just it's more than just going out there with vocals. It's the whole package. It's your style. It's your persona, your genre, the way you kind of market yourself, and the way he chooses carefully and selects his songs. So he's got the style and the vibe, and that would be a cool one. And then God, someone have to choose one more. One that comes to mind, I guess, would be Zach Brown. I mean, the guy looks like someone you don't want to mess with, but he's got such a beautiful voice, just this velvety voice, and you're coming from this big man, and God, I would love to be able to be on stage and perform and harmonize with that guy, and he's just got some great songs. So that's off the top of my head. Those are three that come to mind, but there's so many others.
You definitely couldn't go wrong with those three for sure. And maybe one day you may be on stage with one of those three. You never know.
Yeah, hey, never say never.
For my listeners out there who might not know who you are, I've been kind of watching your videos and hearing your songs. You get a little brief bio on who Rocky Michaels is.
Yeah, thank you. So I am a, singer-songwriter, a sort of an indie folk singer-songwriter from California. I say California; it's a big state for those who haven't been here. Or in Northern California, it might be like a 7 or 8 hour drive to LA. A town called Danville, which is about 40 miles due east of San Francisco. Um, but I say the San Francisco Bay Area. And so I grew up with a piano in the house. Back then we didn't have the internet, and it's either
What?
hey, go play. I know. Um, so the choices were, hey, you can go play ball or ride your bike or play the piano. So I had that as a foundation growing up, and I didn't appreciate it as much as in hindsight, I think I should have, but it was always there, and it was a foundational sort of support for me. And then, I tinker with songs and cover songs. And then shortly after college, I was in a band. I was the lone keyboard guy in the band. Everyone else played the guitar, and I thought they were so cool. And so, just sort of by osmosis, I learned a few chords on the guitar. Um, and I really began just writing songs. It was just such a great outlet, and I never knew how much satisfaction can be derived from just writing songs, and just my vantage point back when I was a young single bachelor was a lot different than than where it is now. Um, but the band eventually, we played out around San Francisco and Napa, and it was a lot of fun. Great guys. I'm still friends with them, but we ran its course. One guy moved up to Oregon, my good buddy, and so the band sort of, I don't say broke up, but it sort of dissolved. But I still had my passion for songwriting was really just could not be tamed, and I just continued to write and write. And for a while, I just had all these songs, just sort of my sheet music collecting dust. And really, just a couple of years ago, 2019, I figured, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. I've got all these songs. Let me throw it out there. Initially, it was just so I could have something to almost have as a living legacy for my kids. I've got two boys at home, young men, and but then it just sort of took on a life of its own. And I think I've got 26 or 27 songs out there, and um, it's kind of like an assembly line. I've got another one set for May 5th, and another one I'm going to try for in June or July, and it's just been so gratifying. It's such a uh, rewarding journey for me to go through.
And you mentioned earlier your parents kind of pushed you to play piano and sing around 5 years old. I'm sure you're like, but I want to go play toys.
Yeah, it
How was that
well,
transition like? Kind of get used to playing and yeah, you felt the vibe to play and sing.
you mean when I was younger,
Yes, sir.
or um,
Yeah.
well, it wasn't so much singing; it was just playing piano and taking
Okay.
piano lessons, and um, I never really envisioned myself to be a singer, but I just loved writing, and it was sort of like kind of writing a diary of my life stories. Um, and even in the band, I wasn't the lead singer. I was a harmony guy, but that was it's probably 20 years ago. And I also have this attitude: you want to kind of work from the bottom up. So my weak link had been my singing, and so I've really been trying to focus on that. And I mean, it's still a work in progress. It'll always be, but um, um, so when I decided to go on my own and start write songs, I my songs are like my children. I own them, and I couldn't hand them off to someone else. So I figured, if I want to get these out there, I kind of have to take ownership of them and sing and harmonize most of the songs. I harmonize myself, and it's sort of like, again, took on a life of its own.
Well, there's some artists that kind of inspired you to become who you are. Kind of you listen to and go, that's a cool vibe, folk, or this vibe or that vibe really kind of help you mold who you are.
Yeah, so many artists. I mean, young when I was growing up, I mentioned Billy Joel, but the Eagles are probably my most influential band growing up, and then Mellencamp, and I have a real affinity for songwriters. Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon, and James Taylor, and of course the Stones, and more current. I mentioned Zach Brown, but John Mayer and Kenny Chesney and Sheryl Crow, and even my kids have turned me on to Post Malone and some of these. So kind of a wide net. I just appreciate good talent and great lyrics, great lyricists.
I've watched a chunk of your videos, a number of your songs I've seen. I love the places you go and film these. They're incredible. I like the Stepping Stone, Eagle, Firefly is my favorite because it reminds me of my growing up days playing out in the woods on a swing. What inspires you to find these cool locations for the songs you write?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for that. I really enjoy, when I'm writing the song, I have a storyboard in my head of how I like it to be displayed. The video. Fortunately, where I live, I mean, it's such a diverse area. We've got the coast, which I love to go to. A number of coastal shots make their way in my videos, and we've got the mountains, and you mentioned Stepping Stone. That's actually at Muir Beach, um, which is, whoops, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay, then something popped up. Um, that's just north of San Francisco, and there were a lot of really, really cool geological, rocks and stones in the on the beach. So I thought that would be kind of nice for Stepping Stone. Um, as far as Firefly, that's actually in my neighborhood. There's a little creek, and I just thought it would be a good setting for that. So most of my videos have been around the Bay Area. I did go to Nashville once, and I got some footage there in LA. Um, I have a song called Stars, so I was actually literally walking down the Hollywood Walk of Fame on the stars,
That's
and
cool.
I incorporated that into the video. So yeah, we got a lot of areas out here that we can draw from.
There's a story behind Stepping Stone, I believe, right? I was kind of reading about it a little bit. Can you share about that a little bit how you came across Stepping Stone and making that song?
Yeah, so that was a song written from the perspective of, I put on my parent cap. I mentioned earlier when I was younger and first starting out, I was writing about, you know, girlfriends and and the single life. But nowadays, I'm so grateful. I'm married. I've got two wonderful boys, and so the Stepping Stone is a song written from the perspective of a parent to a child. And it seems like so many children, and I was one of them growing up. It seems like we all just want the prize at the end. But the reality is, there are a lot of steps to get from here to there, and each
Mhm.
step in and of itself can be a form of a life lesson. So, um, it starts out, some young boy in little league who strikes out, and he's all sad, and he goes to the dugout, and his dad comes over and consoles him and tells him, "Hey, I mean, it's just a stepping stone to bigger and better things." So that was sort of the inspiration behind it.
Mm.
Um, I found early on it's a lot easier to write about, um, just to try to be authentic and write about real life experiences. If I just try to fabricate or make things up, I, I kind of lose direction. So
Mhm.
that's part of the vulnerability of songwriting. You're putting yourself out there, and you don't know how people are going to receive it, but when they do, or if they connect, I mean, that's the greatest gift in the world. Just, oh yeah, I totally get it. What you're saying, I can, you know, and yeah, it's worth it.
I didn't realize you had twins either. I saw the video. Our time is now. How was that? How much fun was that
Oh
making that video?
no, yeah. So actually, I don't have twins. It's the magic of editing, and I credit my son, my young son Jacob. So in the video, it's called "Our Time Is Now." Anybody can check it out on YouTube. It's all free, but Um, he had the camera fixed in one location, and then he shot me 3 times, one on the piano, one on the guitar, and one singing. And somehow he was able to crop it all together. I just had to make sure each time I didn't move too far out of my lane that I was required to stay in. Otherwise, I'd get cut off. But and then he put it all together, and I was like blown away. I joke I was beside myself twice, but that was a fun one to make.
That's a good song, good video. And most of the time, it's just you and the guitar. I've watched a lot of yours, just kind of out, just you're just playing yourself. Would you say it's more fun doing being an acoustic musician or having other instruments with you?
Um, you mean when I perform, or for
Either or. What do you feel most connected to the people? To your fans? Is it is it just being acoustic by yourself, or you having other musicians with you?
usually I'm just by myself. Out here there's a ton of wineries, and it's a great compatible venue for me to play. Um, and so I'm usually just by myself and my guitar. Sometimes I'll bring a piano. It just gets a little cumbersome.
Hmm.
Um, Ironically, I'm more comfortable on the piano just because I've been doing it longer. But I think my learning curve on the guitar and the portability of the guitar, and I think it's just more of a cool instrument. No disrespect to the piano players out there. I mean, I'm one of them, but I just love the guitar. So um, that would be my go-to instrument if I had to choose one.
I've always enjoyed acoustic songs because they are the clarity and the words and storytelling. I think of Dan Fogelberg songs. It's like he's telling us a story every song you hear. I really like the acoustics and just a unit guitar. You hear the words so much better.
Yeah, and if it's a relatively small venue, or and the sort of the intimacy of the crowd or the venue, I mean, you can, hopefully try to connect with them. And yeah, I try, unless I'm just sort of a background music in the corner. If I'm more center stage, I mean, I try to engage the audience. Hey, here's the song about XYZ, or this is what it means to me, and I hopefully they can appreciate the song a little bit more when they know the significance and the meaning behind, you know, why I wrote it and what it means. So, yeah, I think the guitar certainly lends itself more for that.
Um, What? How do you would you best describe your music? Is it, you just said earlier, it's life experiences, life stories, what you've been through, what you've gone through. Is that easier to do than, as you said earlier, trying to fabricate something that's not unrealistic, or maybe a dream of some sort?
Yeah, I mean, style wise, I've always kind of tripped over how do I have to box myself in? Am I folk? Am I country? I don't really know. I mean, I guess it's, if I have to label myself, it's sort of an indie folk singer songwriter. There may be, an element of country to it, but I would not say I'm country, although I absolutely love, the country musicians out there. Um, and yeah, again, recently, the past few years, I grew up listening to songs in the 70s and 80s. And so I believe that there's an audience out there that's sort of my demographic, grew up and now maybe they have kids of their own. And, sure, they love the young musicians, but if I can sing about real life situations such as parenting and marriage and maybe social environment issues and things like that, you know, the I like to say the lane for that audience, it might not be as wide, but it's not as crowded either. And I think there's some good engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I've found over time people come up and say, "Oh yeah, I can relate because I've got a child," or "Yes, my spouse, we feel the same way." Blah blah blah. So um, I'm not. I mean, that's just what what comes out of me, what I try to write. I'm not trying to intentionally write one way or another. It's just organic, and that's kind of, I'm expressing what I'm feeling and who I am, and that's sort of my style.
I've had friends and family members who have had cancer, fought cancer, received cancer treatments. Would you mind sharing a little bit more how about music beats cancer?
Oh yeah, yeah. Good man, Jody. You're doing your research. Yeah, that's a great organization that they've really tapped into the artist community. Um, to raise awareness, and they have different types of events and contests. So, personally speaking, I mean, cancer's affected our family. My uncle, my mother-in-law, my father, and most recently my wife, and um, we're all fine. um, um, but it's you know seems like everyone knows someone who's been affected in one way or another. And so Music Beats Cancer is a great nonprofit organization. I think they reached out to me initially, and of course I jumped at the opportunity to help raise awareness. And I don't have their website memorized, but if you Google Music Beats Cancer, you can find out more information and a lot of different ways to get involved.
And I see you're a part of the ISSA, the International Singer Songwriter Association. It's a mouthful. And you've been nominated for awards, and you won some. What's it like when you hear you're nominated for, say, Album of the Year, or XYZ? What's that mean to you when you get nominated for this?
Yeah, thank you. It's 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 wonderful. I mean, such a wonderful organization, and it's growing and it's international. And I mean, so many amazing artists out there. It sounds corny and a cliche, but I mean it sincerely. Just to be a part of this group, I follow them on Facebook and other social media, and I'm learning a lot what others are doing, and it's sort of a sharing of best practices. So just to be a part of the group and acknowledged is wonderful. For me, I guess because I mentioned earlier, I just admire so much lyricists and good lyrics. So to be mentioned as a potential songwriter of the year nominee for me, if one has to stand out over the other, I place such respect and value on songwriting. So it's just, um, it made me feel very good. And, we have our highs and lows throughout this. What am I doing? Am I, wasting my time, this and that? It's
Mm-hmm.
just an affirmation that, I love what I'm doing, and there's some acknowledgement that that what I'm doing is causing some positive vibes out there. So helps me keep going.
You have to pinch yourself every once in a while, going, "Is this real?"
Yeah, yeah. No, it's great. It's wonderful, and it's just a real supportive organization as well. Are you a member? I think you are.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I'm a member of, and I've had a chance to interview. I'm guessing 5 or 6 singers, songwriters from the ISSA, and it's such a cool organization. Just meeting people and getting their story, like yours and many others. And if I can encourage somebody in this cool little interviews we have and sharing music, like you allowed me to share some of your songs, I think if getting the word out to songwriters that you don't hear that on the mainstream. I think smaller venues like what you do, and I think you definitely the world around can hear other musicians for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, good. Well, maybe I'll see you in Atlanta. Who knows?
Can you share about how your folks, sorry, about to the folks out there, how they can connect with you, upcoming events, you get a website at all?
Thank you. Yes. So you can always start with my website. It's just www.rockymichaelsmusic.com. And I'm on, there's a link to all the social media content. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I tend to have a lot of videos. And so, it's a great place for free to not only check out my videos, but you can listen to my music as well. You can just go to YouTube and just Google Rocky Michaels. Um, and if anybody's out there, you want to, send me a hello. I love to hear it, and I always try my best to respond back. And it's always great to make new connections. So, just say hello. I love to hear from you.
And as we begin to wrap up, I'm curious to know whether it's sometimes in your career you might have thought, my music's not good enough. Like you said earlier, I'm not. Is it really working? But the last 4 years, you've just grown leaps and bounds. How'd you keep going?
Yeah, that's a great question. I hear that's not uncommon. You kind of go through the highs and the lows. I said, I'm trying to keep it in perspective. Yeah, again, to throw out that cliche again, it's more the journey, not the destination. I may or may not, ever fill out Texas Stadium, but I'm enjoying I'm enjoying the process. I'm enjoying putting my music out there, and even if there's like 10 people in the crowd and they're nodding at my lyrics, or they come up and say, "Oh man, I can totally relate." That's the best form of currency. And I just try to lean on those moments, um, and at the end of the day, I enjoy what I do. It's a great outlet. Life's pretty crazy out there, and this has been a great outlet for me to kind of express myself. Share my views, and hopefully, if I have all my wits about me, I can be doing this. When I'm 90 years old. So who knows?
As you, almost a few more questions for you. This podcast is about sharing encouragement and positivity. Can you share some encouragement or positivity to musicians out there who might be just teetering on, should I try? Should I go sing somewhere? Or maybe doubting their abilities a little bit.
Wow. Yeah. Probably just dovetailing off what I said before. I mean, maybe just kind of keep it in perspective. What are you trying to accomplish? If you're just starting out, I mean, you hear stories every now and then. Someone puts out something on the internet and they go viral and they're an overnight success. But I mean, that's just that's the exception, not the norm. So if you're starting out, just kind of check in with yourself. If you're doing it because you love doing it and it's a passion, and I mean that should be the the guiding light to continue to do it. And don't try to have too unrealistic goals. There's a chance you may be disappointed, and it might taint the rest of the journey. So just appreciate what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, um, and if you get satisfaction out of it, then accept that for what it is, and never say never. You never know what can happen. But I don't know. I guess I'm not sure how clear that message is. But I guess that's what I would share.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure you help someone out who's kind of teetering and kind of to move forward a little bit. And thanks so much for this opportunity. I'm so glad we had a chance to connect. I wish you nothing but the best. I'm not in Seattle, but if you're near Seattle, give me a call. We'll have coffee sometime. It's my
Awesome.
having you on today. Thanks so much, and I wish you nothing but the best, and for you and your family.
Thank you, Jody. Appreciate the time. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rocky Michaels, thank you. Take care of yourself.
Too.
Bye-bye.
This is Rocky Michaels, the best part of living.
I can think of so many reasons to help me brighten up my everyday. I've got my health and I've got a family, and I've got faith that everything will be okay. And all throughout the colors of the seasons, inspiration everywhere I see. Oh, but everything all leads back to you now. 'Cause all you are is everything to me. You're the sweet melody that I'm hearing, lifts me up when I'm feeling down. You're the gentle ocean breeze that I'm feeling, the kisses on my skin all around. You're a snuggle in a bed kind of morning, on a cold and lazy winter of a day. And you're a golden sunset dropping down from heaven, in a picture-perfect moment kind of way. You're the best part of living. Walking by the creek down to the river, stepping back and taking in the view. Setting there, almost pure perfection, but it'd never be as good here without you. 'Cause you're the exclamation to our story, and you're the explanation for this song. Traveling through life with all its glory, you that's been my blessing all along. You're the sweet melody that I'm hearing, lifts me up when I'm feeling down. And you're the gentle ocean breeze that I'm feeling, the kisses on my skin all around. You're a snuggle in a bed kind of morning, on a cold and lazy winter of a day. You're a golden sunset dropping down from heaven, in a picture-perfect moment kind of way. You're the best part of living. Cherry topping on that ice cream sundae, making everything that's good better yet. You're the home that
everything in life that you've been through and everything you've yet to do, every one of them have a stepping stone. This is Stepping Stone by Rocky Michaels.
He was 7 years old that summer when he first tried Little League. And he stepped up to the plate for his home team. Well, he swung real hard and he swung each time, but he struck out on 3. Then he swore that was the end of his ball dream. He returned to the bench and sat in the corner where he began to cry when his dad came over to comfort that poor child. He said, "Son, don't view it as if you failed at that. I thought you didn't try." Then he told the young boy this as he smiled. "Buddy, this is just a stepping stone to get to where you're going and where you want to be. What might seem like a stumbling block all depends where on that rock you stand and what you choose to see. So take those doubts you carry around, place them between your feet and ground. Oh, and stand tall, having known everything in life that you've been through and everything you've yet to do. Every one of them's a stepping stone." The boy's now 21, his career begun as an entry-level clerk, with both little learnings and big dreams to jump ahead. He was so frustrated and so impatient with his current line of work, but he remembered long ago what his dad said. "Buddy, this is just a stepping stone to get to where you're going, oh, and where you wanna be. What might seem like a stumbling block all depends where on that rock you stand and what you choose to see. So take those doubts you carry around and place them between your feet and ground. Oh, and stand tall, having known everything in life that you've been through and everything you've yet to do. Every one of them's a stepping stone." These aren't obstacles you found, but rather a life that's all around. Oh, so stand tall, having known all these things that you have seen, everywhere that you have been, are treasured little stepping stones. The stepping stones. He was 7 years old that summer when he first tried Little League.
This is Hunter Lott's brand new song, Look Down on Me. I know we all hate commercials, but the next 3 commercials are for my sponsors. I'm so thankful to have them on. We have Lone Star Donuts, Tequiza and Tequiza Street, and Double D's Barbecue and Smokery coming up next. Are you craving some authentic, fresh Mexican food? I am. I want to tell you about 2 businesses here in Silverdale, Washington. They're both locally owned and operated. They got some of the best tasting Mexican food around. The first one is Tequiza Street. They're a local food truck located at 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, Washington. They got some best tasting breakfast burritos you'll ever find, including the Breakfast Tex Burrito, the Breakfast California Burrito, the Breakfast Ultimate Burrito, and my favorite, the Barbecue Pulled Pork Burrito. Delicious. They also add items like tacos, burritos, and other great tasting items. Call and place your order today. Go out and pick it up at 360-914-9152. That's at Tequiza Street. Also, at the Kitsap Mall, Tequiza. They have 5 kinds of tacos there. That's right, 5, including burritos, taquitos, taco salads, and my favorite, grilled jalapenos, yummy, and many, many more delicious items. Also, on Taco Tuesdays, tacos are 50% off. That's right, 50% off. Where can you find that deal, right? Call and place your order today at 360-698-4335 or head over to the website at tequizatacoshop.com and get some more great tasting, authentic Mexican food at Tequiza, located at the Kitsap Mall. Their number again is 360-698-4335. I got one word for you. Donuts. Delicious, tasting, mouth-watering donuts. Can be found at Lone Star Donuts, a locally owned and operated business here in Kitsap County. They have 2 locations. Both of them have over 50 flavors, including apple fritters, bear claws, maple bars with real bacon, field donuts with apple, lemon, lime, and other amazing flavors. They also have a donut called the Banana Butterfinger Donut, the Banana Split Donut. I love coffee. Of course, they have the coffee donut and donut bites. Go down and see my friends at Lone Star Donuts in Silverdale, or you can call and place your order today at 360-204-5021 or head down to 10786 Maury Place in Silverdale. Also, over in the Port Orchard area, they have another location at 2649 Mile Hill Drive. You can call there at 360-443-2600 to get your amazing donuts. We know you can't buy happiness, but you know what? Buying donuts is kind of the same thing. Go down and see my friends at Lone Star Donuts in Silverdale or in Port Orchard. That's Lone Star Donuts. When I say barbecue, does your mouth just start to water? Barbecue. Well, I got the place for you to go check out, right? Double D's Barbecue and Smokery. They got the best tasting ribs, dry rub ribs, and the meat just literally fell off the bone the last plate I had. Delicious. Also, they have pulled brisket, pulled pork, sides like bacon, macaroni, and cheese, coleslaw, beans, and cream corn with green chilies. Little kick. Delicious. And the dessert, banana pudding. That's right, banana pudding. Where can you find that at, right? See, Brett and Dawn, the owners of Double D's, are both strong military veterans. They have found a home here in the Pacific Northwest, and their roots range from Texas to North Carolina and everywhere in between. They bring their amazing flavors to their ribs and their food truck, which is a catering business as well. You can reach them at 360-960-9093. They're on Facebook, Instagram. That's right, Double D's Barbecue and Smokery. Delicious tasting ribs and barbecue. You got it. Check them out. I think the older I get, the more and more I enjoy mellow, instrumental music. I can close my eyes and it takes me to a place like the ocean or somewhere out in the woods, just enjoying some peace and tranquility. This song by Raven Hayden called Iris definitely does that as well. This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one another podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
Well, welcome back, guys.
Thanks.
All right.
Ready to share about
go.
your brand new song, Weekend Marathon, and
Let's
a
do
little
it.
more about the Redneck Files as well. First of all, Jessica, how you been?
I've been good. How have you been, Jody?
One day at a time, moving right along. About yourself, Chris?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
what?
just
Oh.
staying busy.
First of all, what are the Redneck Files? Who wants to go first and share about the Redneck Files?
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead, Jess. Okay, well, the Redneck Files is kind of a spoof on the X Files. One's a skeptic and one is the a believer. And we were out doing our tour and we were seeking the redneck way of life, and so that's kind of Redneck Files, just like, I don't know. I don't know. What is it, Jess?
Well, I mean, really, what we were talking about was how unlikely it is that actually both you and I would be playing country, right? Because I'm from Denmark and you're a rock person, so from the Northwest. So like it's we're out there just trying to figure out whether or not this redneck life thing is real, and I think, are you the skeptic? I'm the believer. Is that how you're Scully? I'm Mulder. Is that how we do it?
Yeah, I guess so. Even though I think we're both believers.
I think by now we are. Not
Whose
just
idea
believers,
was
We're both
it?
we're livers.
believers.
We live it.
Yeah, that's it.
Whose idea was this?
Oh my God.
For the name,
Yeah, just in general, like you do the concept of it being what you're, doing it, and
I feel like that was a Ray thing. That was my husband and probably Beth too, that were like getting all creative with what we should be doing because they like doing that.
well, I love your previous
It's good to
hit
have-
on. Go ahead.
I said it's good to have good support there.
Yeah,
Of
exactly.
course. Spouses always, yes, they always give us extra support. Your previous hit, "Own Damn Party," was a great hit. I love that song. Share a little bit about that song. I love the ocean where you guys were kicking back and enjoying some cold ones. Share about that one first.
So the beach was in South Carolina. Was it South Carolina or North Carolina? It was right on the
Yeah,
coast there
south.
somewhere. Yeah, we basically what happened was Chris and I were already collaborating on the whole Redneck Highway and a couple other songs, and I said, "Oh, I really need a song with tequila in it," and Chris came back with the beginning of "Your Own Damn Party," and that's how that started. Because you just put something in Chris's mind and he writes about it. It's awesome. He's a writing machine.
I am.
And your brand new
I'm
song,
definitely-
"Weekend Marathon," as well. Chris, you want to share about how this song came about?
Well, it was kind of a true story.
All right.
Some of the lyrics, inspired by true events. So Jessica was in Nashville, and I was on my way for my first recording session with Jessica in Nashville. We happened to be on the plane with Jessica's husband, Raymond, and we're flying, and Raymond buys us all a round of drinks, double shots, mind you. And so we were kind of we were celebrating, and I'm sitting there and I'm talking like an angry T-Rex with my arms, and I flip my drink right into my lap. And so into my lap and not in my throat. Those are some of the lyrics in this song. And the reason I guess why it stuck to me is because it happened not once, but twice. Yes. Twice.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was a real reminder because when you get your boys shocked like that, for any length of time with Ice Cube, oh my God. Yeah, you remember it and you want to write about it. It's significant.
We had this moment of our Airbnb fell through for the trip, and so we had to quickly find somewhere else to stay, and we found this really shady motel, and we were staying there, and it was the weirdest place, and we actually ended up in lawn chairs out in the parking lot, drinking out of red Solo cups every night. and it was just our own party. That's what it really was.
Do you recall?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris.
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing.
Jess, do you recall how you guys first met and began collaborating?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this the other day. So COVID was still kind of going strong, and we were doing some of these online events, and we were both singing for a charity for dogs. We do love dogs, both of us, and Chris was singing right before me, so I was sitting listening to him, and he sat listening to me after he was done. And from what I understand, and Chris can correct me if I'm wrong, he was sitting there singing harmonies with my songs, and Beth went, "You guys need to do this together." And I know that Chris and Ray connected a little bit. That's my husband, Ray. They connected a little bit before Chris and I ever got together. But the minute we did and we started singing, it was just like this magical, amazing event. And we couldn't not work together after that.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up on that. Yeah, just like she said, I sang and then she sang. I listened to her and I started harmonizing, and I was like, wow, this is. And both Beth and I were like, yeah, this. And so when we sat down together, we made it a point to get together and give it a try. I'll be honest, it's one of those things where you just know, I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
this is good.
Yeah.
So, and she's a highly motivated girl, doing her thing country wise, and I'm a pretty motivated guy as
Yeah.
in the music industry as well, and so I really, I guess, got lucky, with all the contacts and everything that Jessica helped build with the studios in Nashville, and finally getting me out there and getting some recordings done, and it's and I got to learn country. I wasn't doing country before. I had written a few songs,
Mhm.
like Redneck Highway was written before we got together, but I just wasn't really doing country, and so when I met Jess, I was like, well, here's the opportunity. We need to do this, and she's something. She's a force to be reckoned with in the country world, and so it's really good to get out there and kick some major butt with someone who knows what's up.
You guys are both
Yeah.
on very crazy schedules. How do you find time for more projects?
Well, actually,
For
I
me,
decided to cut back on playing live shows just so that I could spend the time where I really want to be spending the
Mhm.
time. So basically, the only shows I'm doing this year is with Chris.
Okay.
So with the Redneck Files, and it's opened up more time for me to write and for me to for us to spend time when we do put a song out to actually go in there and support it with with efforts. Where before a lot of that time was going, for me at least, was going on prepping for the live tour of the summer. So
You guys have some upcoming projects as well you want to share about on the concerts for the Redneck Files as well? I'll let Chris go this time.
I'd have to look at the schedule. I know we've got a few on the books for a few private shows. Um, I'm actually
but they're
not
mostly
real
just
familiar with
private.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's what we got going on. Let me look at. I'm looking here. We got one. What, May 20th? We're doing a
That's a
private
private one.
show
Yeah.
up north. Let's see, and then
I guess
And
what's
we
myself.
got
happening is people are inviting us to their own damn parties. That's what it is.
There you go. There you go. How do I
yeah.
do that?
We got another one in August. So, and then yeah, another couple in August looks like,
Mm-hmm.
So
and
how do
then
folks get you to their own damn party?
oh well, they gotta donate a liver or something because we're some big
Very
wigs now.
important. Yeah.
Donate a liver. Got
Uh,
it. Okay, I get that
He's
down.
writing it down. Oh my god, this is hilarious.
I mean, I don't know if you guys know how important we think we are, but
2 pints
no,
of blood and a liver. Will that cover it?
Oh man, that's
yeah,
just a bonus.
lots of
Thank you for
love though.
tipping us.
Yeah,
How do you guys?
generally, if they just if they're making barbecue or some ribs or something like that, just invite me to the party, and that's a big win for me.
Okay.
How
Liver
And
about
it
you?
helps if there's
barbecue. Got it.
alcohol, of course.
How can you guys follow you guys? And you have a redneck community. People can follow you guys.
Yeah, we do
Yes.
actually. We have a Facebook group called Rebels and Rockers, and so that's kind of like a little nod to my song Rebel and to Crispy and the Rocker. And if you go search for that, or you can actually follow our hashtag Redneck Files, and you'll see all of that what we put out. But you can follow us individually as well, Jessica Lynn Whitty and Chris Jones.
Well, thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, and thank you. Let me share your music. I love sharing your music on podcast. Last I checked, we're in 16 countries. My podcast has been heard, so your music's getting out
Wow.
all over the world.
Thank you so
So,
much for always supporting, Jody. Appreciate it.
and
Yeah.
Chris, I
Thanks a
saw
lot,
you.
Joey.
Hey, Chris, I saw your dog pass away. I'm so sorry. I saw you get a new dog as well. So, how's the new dog?
Oh, he's doing great. He's been a real relief because losing my boy Angus was really really tough. But um,
Mhm.
speaking musically, there's gonna be a song coming out called "My Dog," and it was inspired from Angus. So for all those pet owners out there, it's gonna be a tearjerker, and I really really believe it's gonna be something amazing.
It's an amazing song. Just wait.
And so my new dog is going to be probably featured in a video that we're going to start working on for my dog, because we're trying to collect all the old clips that I have of Angus, and our new dog, his name is Halen, after Van Halen. We're going to try to use him as the young dog in the videos, and then Angus will be the old man,
Gotcha. Well, thanks so much for the time.
Yeah,
Really
so-
appreciate it. And you guys take care. Be safe.
Thank you, Jody. Thanks for
All
always
right, thanks,
supporting our
Jody.
music. Appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye-bye.
And here it is, the brand new song from the Redneck Files, Chris Jones and Jessica Linwiddie, Week-Long Marathon.
Well, it was fine flying through the sky. Seats are too small, my mouth is dry. But, oh man, my company was fine. My double shots couldn't stay afloat, poured in my lap instead of my throat. So when my crew hit the ground running, we made a beeline. It was a week-long marathon of drinking, having so much fun, barely thinking. Didn't know you'd survive off the suds, hanging out with the buds. It was a week-long marathon of drinking.
Even all the whiskey in Tennessee, it wasn't nearly enough for me. Kept seeing them bottles flying off the shelf. Well, the tenor man said, just one more round, I gotta cut you off before you hit the ground. I said, I see there's more whiskey for me, can I help myself?
It was a week-long marathon of drinking, having so much fun, barely thinking.
Remind me tomorrow if I do forget. Hold my beer, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Week-long marathon of drinking. Oh yeah. Now when they run out of your favorite poison, you gotta hold around for all your boys, and you know you gotta switch it up.
That's when things get a little bit crazy and everything gets a little bit hazy. Mixing different liquors in a
Red Solo cup.
oh,
It was a week-long marathon of drinking, having so much fun, barely thinking. Didn't know you'd survive off the suds, hanging out with the buds. It was a week-long marathon of drinking. It was a week-long marathon of drinking, having so much fun, barely thinking.
And now remind me tomorrow if I do forget. Hold my beer, you ain't seen nothing yet.
A week-long marathon of drinking. Yeah, it was a week-long marathon of drinking. Yeah, it was a week-long marathon of drinking.
This is Chit and Chat, the encouraging one other podcast. What it's all about, encouraging others. Thanks so much for joining today here on the Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. It's a great time for awesome music, fun interviews as always, every week, encouraging, uplifting, and even laughter. We just have a lot of fun here on this podcast. Hope you can subscribe and follow on iHeartRadio, Spotify, other podcasting platforms, as well as a website. It's chitandchatpodcast.com. That's ChitNChat podcast.com. And thanks so much for being part of this encouraging, uplifting podcast. Keep on following for brand new episodes each and every week. This is Chit Chat.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.